is that? Oh, gosh, horrible intro. I don't know. I haven't got my I'm loving it in me yet. Nectar of the gods or the janitorial staff. No offense to the janitorial staff, by the way. Getting my coffee in me. I am on the way to the Nashville bins. It's pretty cool. Only been there one other time with my boy Hutch, and he couldn't come with me today. He had prior engagements, but I gave him a shout, see if he would go with me. So I'm going solo. Asked my second daughter, Jordan, to go, and she wasn't up and ready yet, so it's just me, solo dolo. Bolo, Kono, Ice, don't know where any of that is going, but I'm going to the bins. I am looking for some threads. That's my jam today, looking for some threads for a Dibbed It thread show. One coming to you soon. I don't know when this video will drop, but it is Wednesday the 7th of May, and we're feeling good today. Feeling good. I did not do my morning walk today. When I get back, I'm going to have to exercise. I am committing every single day to make sure I get my exercise in, a little lifting. I noticed last week I did a little heavy shoulders. For those of you who don't know, this shoulder is not, my supraspinatus is 98% torn. And this one, I don't know what muscle of the three groups, but the rotator cuff's definitely tore, because when I was hunting 2 years ago, slipped coming down the mountain. I knew I couldn't use this arm, caught myself with this one popped. Long story short, I have not got surgery, so I'm very careful with my shoulders, but I did do some pressing to failure with some heavy weight, and I noticed a little bit of growth. Not major, but it's so funny how your body responds, especially if you have muscle memory. And I'm getting back on that, the weight training train. That's not a Dibbed It show or First Class Treasures train. This is weight training. And I'm allowed to talk about anything on here. This is the F-150 Reseller confession booth. I'm going down the road in my Ford F-150, having a hard time talking today. And I just talk about reselling, life in general, and a lot of nonsense. So hopefully you stay tuned, like, share, and subscribe. Share it with your friends. Tell them you watched the world's okayest reseller in his truck. He rambles. He has severe attention deficit disorder. Can't stay on topic, but you love him because he's real as it gets. Reselling this week. Had a great show with my partner in crime, Hard Rock Resales, last night. Every Tuesday we go live at 9 Central. You can catch us on First Class Treasures, sometimes on Dibbed It. But we go live, and he is great at sourcing. Wherever he's at up there in Illinois, he's got great sourcing opportunities because he comes up with amazing finds. I mean, I bought last night a Stompers, vintage Stompers case to hold Stompers. Unfortunately, there were no Stompers in it, so we joked last night. I bid, I won it, and this is on the live show, by the way. As I'm co-hosting, and we are co-hosts, you really can't bid from your device, but if you get a second device, you can join the live and you can bid. And he has that good of stuff where I pulled out my computer and bought several items. But that Stompers case, our joke now is maybe that's the good luck charm for me to find a Stomper in the wild. If you don't know much about reselling, or you're totally confused right now, I understand. Stompers 4x4 trucks were a toy in the 80s that required a AA battery. Nothing special about them. They had foam tires, but they're just little 4x4 trucks. You put a battery in it, you just hit the switch to on, and it would just drive. No tricks or nothing like that. It would just go. But in the 80s, that was a big deal. For like, it was basically like having a miniature remote control car without the remote. It just went, and then you could go pick it up and shut it off. And I have a little horror story, some trauma in my life. One Christmas in the early 80s, I got some Stompers for Christmas, along with G.I. Joes and other stuff. Well, every Christmas, it was our tradition for my grandmother to come over sometime around, lunchtime, noon, or 1 or whatever. And we actually opened presents there Christmas Eve. That's beside the point. But she would come over, we'd eat. She was there till late at night. Love my grandma, miss her dearly. And I left my Stompers out between the time we opened presents and the time we're supposed to clean the mess up for the company for Christmas Day. And my dad took them, as he would do oftentimes, to teach me a lesson, and stuck them up in his closet. And I don't remember ever getting them back. I don't remember ever playing with them again. I remember vividly that traumatic moment in my life, but I don't remember ever getting them back. I'm sure I did, but it was that big a deal. So I joke that I have this Stomper Trauma, that I'm trying to exercise those demons, so to speak, from my past Stomper Trauma. And so I'm looking for Stompers in the wild. I just want to play with my Stompers. Now I've got the McDonald's, the miniature Stompers that didn't require a battery. They came in Happy Meals. Still pretty cool, but not the same value whatsoever. You can pick those up 10 or 15 bucks, maybe even less, because they don't require a battery. They're just basically little plastic Matchbox cars. But a real Stomper they can go upwards, 80 bucks, 150 bucks. They are very valuable. So that's what I'm looking for in the wild, is a Stomper. I feel like if I found anything Ultraman or a Stomper, I would feel like I was accomplishing something in my reselling life. But that's pointless. I'm just telling you a little of my goals and dreams and aspirations, and it has to do with Stompers. And like my wife said, you need better goals, like, putting diamonds on me and, adorning me with fine things rather than playing with Stompers. And she may be right, but still, I'm going to exercise the demons of me being grounded from Stompers. Another thing today, we're going to the Nashville bins, looking through the hard goods as well. If you don't know what the Nashville bin or the Goodwill bins are, it is basically a Goodwill outlet store. There's gigantic bins full of goods, and they're separated from clothing to hard goods and books and shoes. And they are gigantic bins, and every hour they roll them away back in the warehouse and they fill them up again. It's a wild experience. It's not for the faint of heart. You will be rubbing shoulders with other people. They'll be reaching across you. You will touch some stuff you don't want to. I should wear gloves, honestly, because this stuff isn't getting cleaned. When I bring it home, I steam it, or I throw it in the washing machine immediately. I don't bring stuff and lay it down in case there was ever to be any bugs or anything like that. So all my stuff is sanitized and cleaned, but it takes a little bit of a little grit in you, a little reseller grit. If you know about that reseller grit, it's a little different than your average grit. It's like, oh man, I got one of these little kids' boogers on me. We were joking in the show last night about that. I think you could rob a bank with a booger. I know that's gross. You shouldn't talk about that, but you know me, I say exactly what I think. I don't have much of a filter. I don't mean to offend. Everything is a joke to me, so you'll just have to get used to it or click off. I'd rather you not. I'd rather you click, like, subscribe, ring that bell, and we'll carry on with something more important and fascinating as always. So driving down the road, I know when I watch these videos back, I don't even edit. I just let it fly. But I'll watch them back occasionally, and it looks like I'm always looking at the camera, not at the road. And it's funny because I feel like I'm just looking at the road and just glancing over. And I can actually see the road and look this way. It looks like I'm looking at the camera, but I'm actually looking down the road. So don't be worried about me. I am a safe driver. 10 and 2, seatbelt on, paying attention, drinking my coffee, talking to a phone on my dashboard, and making very little logical sense. So at these bins, the Goodwill bins are an outlet, and it's stuff brought from all over. I don't know if it's like stuff that didn't sell, it sat there too long on shelves, and they bring it to these units. But it's a cool experience for a reseller because you can find vintage clothing. Whereas if you went to a regular Goodwill, your chances of finding something, a banger, is good, except, sorry, phone's ringing. Except the thing is, you'd have to look through everything, where this is like right in front of your face. You just dig and snatch and grab. Nothing's folded or neat. It's just a free-for-all. It's like when you go to a yard sale, everybody's got clothes all over tarps, you know, and you're just, that's what it's like. It's like, but there's no couth in here. I mean, it's to each their own. You get your cart, there's people over in the corner comping stuff with their phone, using Google Lens and eBay, checking stuff out, and there's, I mean, I was at the one, I probably told the story already, but, you know, it's my first time at the bins. Been a full-time reseller for 6 months and a reseller for a year or so, but I don't know if I carry myself a certain way or just people just assume. But these two younger girls come up and she goes, watch him, and I'm like, I'm looking around like, hey, watch Bob over here, watch Bob. But I guess because I kept picking stuff up, I just, like, I see something cool, I throw it in my cart, and it was overflowing, so it looked like maybe I was this reseller savant, which everybody knows I'm the world's most okayest reseller. That's what I am. I'm just a hair above average. Just okay. But I guess when I go in, I'm gonna, you know, I go golfing, I'm dressing to a T sometimes, but anything I do, I try to, you know, play the whole role, so maybe that's what it looked like to them. But at these bins, I hope to find some vintage stuff for this Dibbed at Threads show. I hope to find some hard goods. I need to find something neat in that regard. I can at my local Goodwill. I always find DVD, VCR combos. I sell them very well. That's one of my favorite items. But I want to find something neat and unique. I did find like a computer, what would you call that? You know, the big processor, the big heavy ones. But everything at the Goodwill bins is by weight. So it's $1.59 a pound. That thing had to weigh 30 pounds. So I didn't want to take the chance on that. That's the bad part about the bins, is anything heavy is expensive. But, excuse me, anything lightweight is a steal. I filled up an entire cart for $78. I sold one t-shirt out of that for $25 live. So that tells you how much it would be worth on static listing. Sun's coming out, time to get the glasses, the rad shades on. But so one shirt sold for that. I had some equestrian pants. If you know anything about equestrian, obviously the uniform or the pants are expensive because they're unique. They have leather or suede on the inside of the legs so you don't chafe and chap, you know, because, you know, you're straddling a horse. I sold those live. They made good money. So just 3 items out of that entire cart of stuff I had made more than my money back, and then I got an entire cart basically for free. That would be pure profit. I don't think I'm giving away any secrets here. This has been going on for a while. I am new to the bins, but it is a game changer, especially for me, for a live seller, because I can flip it fast. That is kind of the strength of my business right now. I have to say the live selling is a gigantic portion of my business. I did mention my eBay store tanked because, my fault, because I'm selling stuff live. I will grab stuff while I'm doing it because I do this in the Rad Cave, and I'll grab stuff that's listed on eBay and it sells, and I may not get it removed from eBay fast enough, and it sells, and it's wild. It is one of the tricks of the trade. They say if you touch something on your shelves, it will sell, and I found that to be true. I don't know why, but it certainly is a thing. You can believe me or not, but any reseller will agree with me. I promise you that. But selling live has cost me a little bit on the eBay side because of my non-diligence, or lack thereof, of diligence. to remove things as fast. After my live, I need to go straight to my eBay, and I need to start delisting anything I sold. That has been a source of a little thorn in my side, so to speak, and it's all my fault. But eBay will punish you for, canceling orders, not shipping in time, and those are things I can control. So I don't blame eBay, although I wish they would just, my rating's good. I don't know. I guess I would be disappointed if I bought something and someone said, "Oh man, sorry, it's sold," especially over and over, multiple times in a couple weeks. But I don't think it's that big a deal to halt your store or to hide your listings, because that's what eBay really does do. They, you work for eBay, you are an employee. I will say this over and over ad nauseum, that you need to be on your P's and Q's. And like we said the other day on the video, I was shouting out Kevin, the Commonwealth Picker, about him mentioning that you always have a boss, and you most certainly do. And even eBay, someone you never see is your boss. You have to follow the rules. You have to do your due diligence. You have to work. Said it before and I'll say it again. Reselling is not for the faint of heart. This isn't going around to yard sales, playing with Barbies and G.I. Joes. Now, there's a lot of that fun stuff involved with it. That's why I do it. It's enjoyable to me to go to the bins here and work all day and come home. I'm going to work all day. I got a shed with the doors open that I took a bunch of stuff out so I could get a giant shelf out so I could put it in the rad cave. It increased my volume capability in that one-car garage. And I've got to go back and deal with that. It's nonstop work, but I enjoy it. I love it, but it's not for the faint of heart. If you think you're going to get into reselling, you may get into it and sell something here or there, and there's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to be a full-time reseller to enjoy reseller content, to just call yourself a reseller. Anyone that buys something, tries to flip it, is a flipper or a reseller. So in this game, there are no gatekeepers. There are some people that probably feel a little bit more than they should about themselves, but I think it has less to do with reselling and probably more to do with social media fame. But that's neither here nor there. Who really cares? I don't. I am easily perturbed by people, anyone, anywhere, in any industry, who think they're better than you. It's one of my weaknesses, is that I guess I do care, because I'm like, man, I've been around heroin addicts in the gutter, and I've been around famous people, and they're all the same. One has more earthly material wealth and one doesn't, but I've got wisdom from both parties. And there's a Jimmy Buffett lyric I was trying to remember there to quote it. Something about thieves and lawyers. I learned much from both of their style. Son of a sailor. But it's the truth. So I don't really take kindly to somebody, being hoity-toity. I don't care if you're a Harvard mouth or a street preacher or whatever. I will listen to you and treat you with that type of respect. But getting off on a little tangent there. But anyways, in the reselling community, it's a very, very friendly community. I mean, to an alarming rate. I really feel that way. Even people you may not normally associate with, like, people, I hate this because I'm a little bit of everything. But, people will label stuff, whatever, nerd, jock, dork, redneck, any label you can put on somebody. And it's funny, but you got different personalities. People like different things. I joke about Dungeons and Dragons because I never got into it, but I really don't care. It's just a joke to me to kind of make fun of it. But people make fun of stuff I do. Like, it's really not a big deal. But people with different likes, opinions, things that make them tick. It's really crazy how you can all get along because you have one common thing in common, which is picking or collectibles, the treasure hunting, the grind, the issues with eBay or whatever platform you're on or whatnot, or live selling, shipping. There's big debates on whether you should do flat rate shipping or free shipping and different selling techniques, and everybody has an opinion, but they seem to get along. We seem to get along really well. Even if there's people kind of rub you the wrong way, it's not that one of these things where it's like, oh, I'm not talking to them, or there's some beef or drama. I mean, we have disagreements, certainly, but it's a really cool community. I have to say that. It's really something that surprises me, how many friends I have that I've never stood face to face with and shook their hand and broke bread with, but we definitely have a relationship. I've shared my number with people, and we'll talk about different live shows and your eBay, and like my buddy Hutch, what are the chances we meet each other on a reselling platform or a online marketplace, and we live close to each other, and then we hit it off. We're buddies, a little bit different ages, but we have something in common, and we get along great, and it's fun. It's really, really fun to share that with somebody, especially somebody new. I've always got room for more friends. I also say sometimes I don't need any more friends, so watch your P's and Q's. I'm not begging for any more, but I'm always welcoming new friends, if that makes any sense. But don't get it twisted. I will not beg, plead, or if you think, I guess this goes back to thinking you're better than someone. I just know some people that sometimes I feel sorry for them. Like, they really think they're somebody with their material or their position, and that's so weird to me, because I'm like, dude, I can see right through you. I can see your weaknesses. I can see your Napoleon complex, or your whatever your upbringing was. It just shines through. You can't hide that part of you if you're genuine, and if you're trying to hide it, even shines more. So sorry, I'll go back on that. But I'm also will be friends with anyone. I'm your friend right off the get-go. There's no, you don't have to prove yourself to me. But I do observe, and I am a loyalist. I believe in loyalty and not disrespecting. I have people that do that to me, and then when I get to a point, I'm not even mad, I'm just done. I don't need to be around that. If you're trying to always kind of, and I don't mean dig like bros joke in the locker room. I can, trust me, I'm the same way. I can handle that. But there are people, they're always trying to get some passive aggressive thing through to you. Like, they don't have the cojones to say what they really want to do, but they'll do it in little kind of passive aggressive things. And I'm like, miss me with all that. Wrong guy, trust me. I always laugh about this social media stuff and trolls. I'm like, and I know it's bound to happen, and you need to ignore it, but my goodness, do you know what I do for a living? I run my mouth. And I'm darn good at it. I'm not saying it's a good thing or you should be like that, but I'm just saying, if you want to play the war of words game, I'm your huckleberry. So anyway, I don't want to be mean, cruel, or whatever, but it does crack me up. Where I grew up, 45 miles outside of Detroit, and it's kind of a rite of passage to have a little bit of a smart mouth, especially if you grew up on Hope Lake. You had to fight for yours. If you couldn't really play, you weren't playing. I wear that with a badge of honor. I'm not saying it's a good thing. Maybe we need to grow up, but if you want to go, we can go. With that being said, I hope you have a great day. I really love you. I mean it. And I really do mean treat people how you want to be treated. When you're picking out there, don't be rude to people. Try to wear a smile on your face. It's not always easy. I know. I'm preaching to myself too. But man, be out there. Try to see the good in people. If you get mad, forgive easily. If you've done something wrong, say you're sorry and move past it. There's so much in this life to enjoy. Yes, I mentioned we all have trials and tribulations. People do us wrong. I've certainly been done wrong, and I've certainly done people wrong. But man, move past it. Ask for forgiveness. Forgive easily. Stay positive. Stay picking no matter where it is. And man, be radical. Let's go.